Hi, this is Jacob with PCTechGuide.com, and today we're going to be taking another look at PC Health Advisor from Pair2 Logic. Generally, the software is right around $30. It is one of our better picks when it comes to registry cleaners, just because it's not so much about cleaning the registry, but the tools that are actually built into PC Health Advisor, and that's why I like it. It's a very simple to use registry cleaning program, and if you've followed any of our videos in the past when it comes to registry cleaners, they're really hit and miss, and it's not about cleaning the registry anymore. It's about optimizing your PC, and while most registry cleaners already do Windows can do, they put it in a very easy to use manner, and that's one reason why we really do like PC Health Advisor. This program has more built-in tools than a lot of other standalone registry cleaners out there, so we'll go ahead and dig into some of them. One's going to be the defrag. Yes, there's already defrag on your computer, but PC Health Advisor has an easy to use button. You just go ahead and push it. It's going to bring up the Defragmenter, and you can go ahead and select the drive you want, analyze it. It'll tell you if you want to go ahead and defrag it or not. And we do have a video already on disk defrag, and it's not something that's normally going to give you that much of a boost, but it can help, especially if your hard drive is pretty full. You have a lot of files scattered all over the place, because your hard drive basically it puts all the files in one location to make it really easy for your hard drive to open up a file instead of going to one area of the hard drive and then another and then another. So most people won't necessarily get a big boost, but it's nice that they include it in there. So I'll go ahead and hit the back button, and unfortunately that's the only way to navigate through here. So when you're in something and you click on something, you actually have to hit the back button to back out of it. You can't really just jump around, which is something I don't like about the program, but it's the way it is. And it's just more of a cosmetic issue. So that's the defrag tool that it has there. It does have the startup manager, so we'll go into the startup manager, and these are actively running programs. Now again, you know, this can be done within Windows too. So if I'm going to hit the Windows Start button, MS config, and I can go ahead under startup services after typing in msconfig in the run command, and this is, you know, the same thing. However, this way is a lot more complicated, and that's why I like registry cleaners. And you can go through it and you can say, okay, uncheck or check the files that you want to go ahead and disable here. Now, I really wouldn't recommend you disable everything. Just go through and uncheck those that you know you do not want running automatically when your computer starts up. And this is a great way to go through and say, hey, I don't like this program. I don't use it anymore, so let's go ahead and uncheck it. So that's a great feature to have in there. Now, I really wouldn't recommend you disable all, because it's going to disable all the programs from auto starting on you, and chances are you're going to want several of these there. You know, I want my Sugar Sync, I want my iTunes helper for when I plug in my iTunes, it's going to open it up. I want Skype. So, you know, go through it and only disable the ones that you do not want running when your computer starts up. Now, the process manager is good, especially for those who are pretty geeky like me, and you're saying, okay, what's taking up a lot of the running spaces on my system? Or, you know, if you're troubleshooting a virus or a particular file that you need to kill off, and you could always bring up the task manager. Process manager is simply the task manager, really. But it gives you a little bit more information. So we're going to see this particular file, adb.exe, you know, what is that? So it's going to say that it's an unsigned file. And if I go over here, you know, it'll tell me the location of this file. So it's my mobiler. So this is something that I actually installed the other day, and I uninstalled the program. So why is this still running on there? So I can end the process, or I can browse down to that file location and then actually delete that file. I'm going to end that process. Boom, boom. Great, especially if you have a virus running on your system. You can just go ahead and kill off whatever executable threat is that's going on. And like I said, this is a little bit more advanced, but it's great that it's in there, and that's what I like about PC Health Advisors. It has a lot of the tools in there at your disposal. So the browser object manager, and this is great for if you have a browser hijack on your computer. So generally browser hijacks will be listed in here, and you can go ahead and disable them within the browser help object manager. Now, chances are 99% of you won't be in here and won't be doing it. If you do have an issue with a particular BH, I'd recommend that you actually just disable it within the browser itself. So, you know, via an add-on or extension. That's a better way of doing it, but it's nice that it's in there, and it's something that you can take a quick look at. the optimized Windows has a bit to be desired here. So really there's not many features. So, yes, allow hibernation, send error reports to Microsoft, enable prefetch, which is just like temp files on your system so you can easily recover recently opened documents in Word and things like that. So most people are going to want enable prefetch to be on. Enable desktop search. A lot of people search things on their desktop, so they're going to want that. So this really isn't like, oh, we're optimizing Windows. So I think this is a little to be desired in this section. You could always, if you wanted to max out the speed of your computer, turn off a couple of these things, and allow hibernation isn't going to do anything for speed-wise on your system. So it's there, but it's not really optimizing Windows. So I don't know why it's called Optimize Windows, to be honest. Drive Manager is great. So Drive Manager is a driver software program. So a lot of these cost $30 by themselves. So right there, you're already getting it with PC Health Advisor, which is really cool. And you can go ahead and just download and install the latest drivers on your system. Now, it's not going to have as many features as a lot of other dedicated standalone Drive Manager programs, such as backing up all your drivers and automatic install of new drivers and things along those lines. So this is very basic, but at the same time, it can definitely help out. So you can go ahead and find out, what drivers are out of date, and you can make a decision whether you want to install it or not. File Extension Manager is pretty cool, and I like this, and I actually use this quite a bit just to find programs to alternatives, right, for opening up certain programs. So here's a .ico file, and it'll tell me a list. Okay, this is a list of programs that can open it, and they have ones that they list if it's free or not. So we all know that for a PDF, what's it going to be? It's going to be Adobe Reader, and I really like how they do this because they list like the more reputable software first. So Adobe Reader, obviously, for a PDF, and then on down the line they go into the other features of other programs that can open up Adobe files. So if you have an Excel file and say, well, I have an Excel file and I don't have Office installed, what is out there for me? So if I type in XLS, which is an Excel file extension, well, look, there's all these free programs out there that will open up this Excel file for me. So it's really cool. I like this, the File Extension Manager. It's something I don't see in other programs, and I really like that. So let's move back over to the home real quick. So the only other thing on the home page here that we haven't covered is going to be the duplicate finder. And no, we haven't even started in on the registry cleaning yet. Like I said, registry cleaning helps. But unless you're already having some system issues, it's really not going to do anything for you. And even if you are having system issues, unless it's like a DLL error or a startup issue, chances are it's probably not going to do much for you. They do have a duplicate file finder, which is pretty cool. So you can find duplicate files on your system, especially ones that are taking up a lot of space, and remove them that way. It's something I really don't use a whole lot, just because hard drives are so big nowadays. There's just not much of a need for it as it used to be, but it's still there. And it's still nice. Under the disk tab here, we're going to have the Restore Point Manager. And yes, you can create a Restore Point in Windows already, but it's nice that it's here. And that's what I think a registry cleaning program should have, is the features that are really easy to use. So I'm going to go ahead and create a Restore Point because look, I didn't have any in there, and I probably shut it off at some point in time, but I should really have a Restore Point. And Restore Point basically is going to allow you to take your computer back in time. So I would recommend you always create a Restore Point before you do a registry cleaner. Or if, these are fantastic because if all of a sudden my PC's just gone haywire and I'm having all these weird things happen on me, I can go back to a Restore Point and actually restore my computer to that time. And so they're great and fantastic to use, and I use it all the time. And no registry cleaner would be complete without having clear temporary files and then clear recent history. So this is going to be your recent browser history and the like, as well as Windows history. Then the clear temporary files is just that. So chances are you have a few gigs worth of temporary files on your system just from browsing the web and using programs, and this basically just clears them out for you. It's really simple to use, and most registry cleaner packages have these in there. So it's just great that it's there. Now before we jump into the settings tab, let's actually go over and talk about the registry cleaning real quick. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit the scan real quick. and we'll see that it's going to go out and scan it. This is going to take about a minute, so I'll go ahead and pause it and wait for it to come back. Now when you run the actual scan, it's not just scanning for registry issues. It's going to come across the privacy files, active processes, and it'll tell you, you can go in under the active processes tab and remove them, and then the startup processes tab, we already covered that. This is kind of unique though, and that's the malware processes, which is pretty cool because if you have something that's been identified like a browser help object, that the fact that it has a malware scan. Now this isn't something that I fully rely on. This isn't going to give you active protection on your computer, but it is something that can be used. If you do have malware on your system, it will find it. Chances are it'll find it anyways, especially if it's a browser help object. It's just really nice to know that, okay, great, I don't have anything. Now, the only real thing that we're going to look at here is, well, we'll jump on to privacy settings, or privacy files, and I'll just show you this just because it really doesn't matter a whole lot for privacy files. So this is kind of like cleaning out that junk temp history, right? So, is this a big deal for you? It might be. But for most people, I want my office history of what I recently opened up. I want my email trash. I'll empty that on my own. And so for me, my browsing history, I'll manually clear that out myself. But if you have a lot of files here, it's good to do. If you don't mind, deleting all your cookies and the like, you can hit the fix all button and it'll remove all the junk temp files on your system. I'll generally do this like once a year just to start over and start fresh. What I don't like about this is it doesn't tell me the size. So what size is, Internet Explorer's junk history? So it doesn't give me the size there, and that's kind of like, well, it should. There's no reason for it not to, but it doesn't. So that aspect I don't really like. So I'm going to go ahead and just go to the back button here. Go back to overall results, and we'll take a look at the actual registry issues. Now, again, registry issues, unless you're already having issues on your system, I really wouldn't worry too much about it. And here, what I don't like, okay, well, 28 entries. All right, so I got to kind of drill down into what these are, and it'll give me a breakdown of them all, but I can't really dive in. At least I haven't been able to find. There we go. So if I click on that right away, it shows me the actual locations. But look, I gotta like move this over. And even then, I can't, I got to move it all the way over. There's not like a slide bar in here. So I think that was just kind of a poor choice of a layout for them to do here. And you could hover over it and see the locations of the files. But, again, unless you're actually having issues on your computer, I wouldn't worry too much about cleaning out the registry. Yeah, you can hit the fix all button and just see what happens, and see if there's any poor performance or any increase in performance, or if it solves your particular issue that you're having. But before you hit that fix registry button, I highly recommend you go ahead and you do a system that you create a restore point. And again, that's going to be under the disk tab and then restore point manager. Just create a restore point first, and it should have asked you to create a restore point right away, but hey, if it doesn't, that's fine. That's pretty much all the features for PC Health Advisor, and the main features anyways. We're going to go ahead and geek out a little bit under the settings tab because, hey, why not, right? So right here you can go ahead and do a schedule. So it's going to run a schedule every Wednesday, Sunday of every week. You can go ahead and take this, you can delete this, you can create your own schedule and say, okay, run every Sunday night, or whatever schedule you want to put in there. So that's nice that it has a scan setting, and then it has the registry settings. So under the registry settings, you can say, okay, you know what, in that first screen, I don't want it scanning any of the startup files. I don't want it scanning shared DLLs. So this is more, like I said, more of a geek thing, but you can go in and customize what it is going to search for and what it isn't going to search for, which is pretty cool. Under the general settings here, you're going to be able to do a couple things here. So right here, we're going to see that create restore point before fixing items. So it's automatically going to create a restore point for you. In case it doesn't, I just go into this setting and make sure that it is checked, because I've had it installed before in a test run where this wasn't checked, and maybe I did it by accident. I don't know, but I'd make sure that that's there just in case, because in case something goes wrong, you can always revert your computer back in time and not worry about it. And it's great that it's there. Some registry cleaning programs and PC optimization programs don't have that listed by default, but it's nice that it's there. You can have it so it automatically starts scan when Windows starts. I recommend that you keep that off. And I recommend that you keep it off here as well to launch application automatically. You already probably have enough auto starting programs on you that you don't need another one. You can turn off the registration reminder if it's not registered. You can set it so it automatically will hey, when notify you when your drive is more fragmented than 3%. Well, I recommend you change that to more like 15%, just because it's not going to give you a big performance boost anyways, especially at 3%. So just set it to 10% or 15% and you'll be fine. I do really like this tab, and that's notify me when attempting to open unknown file types. So when you're trying to open an unknown file, what it'll do is it'll say, hey, Windows doesn't know how to open this, but PC Health Advisor knows a program that would work for you. So that's pretty cool, and I've actually used that quite a bit since I've had that checked. So it's nice, and the general settings is just something, like I said, you can go through and you can geek out a little bit. Scan settings, we'll just run through these real quick. So you got the registry scan, the process scan, the privacy scan. So on myself, I don't care about this privacy, so let's not do it anymore. The process scan, I might as well keep that because it's checking for malware anyways, and it's only going to take an extra 2 seconds for it to do the scan, so why not? So I can just tweak that a little bit. The home page settings, and this is going to be for the home right there. And let's say you have something that you use far more than others, you can go ahead and you can just bump it over there. So if I say that I'm not using this duplicate file finder at all, you can go ahead and just change them out and move things around to other ones that you are using more frequently. So for instance, let me go ahead and just say, well, I want the restore point, and we're just going to put the restore point manager right there on the home page. And now if I go back over to the home page, we're going to see that restore point manager is there. So that's a pretty cool feature that it has, and it's something that's unique and I haven't seen in other programs. And really, that's it for PC Health Advisor. It is a good buy. I recommend the program. Pair2 Logic also has another program out there called RegCure, which is very, very similar. The two do overlap a lot. I think bang for buck, Pair2 Logic PC Health Advisor gives you a little bit more bang for that buck, which is nice. And for other reviews, feel free to look at the PCTechGuide.com website. Go under our review section, software, and registry cleaners, and see a full list of the registry cleaners that we recommend. And you can't go wrong with any of the ones that are listed on that site. So you'll be making a good choice by picking any of those programs that are listed there. That's it for this video. I hope it helps.